Hello and good afternoon, everyone. Happy to see you. Today is the 1 year anniversary of Cryptocampus, and I am super happy. I just want to thank everyone who has been in the campus for the past year. It's been a crazy year, We've we've been both in a crazy bull run and in a crazy bear market, So a lot of stuff has happened, but a special thanks to all of the members because this is really something I couldn't have dreamed of. One day I was sitting at home and I got so much questions like, should I buy this? Should I buy this? So I started a little Discord group, and before I knew it, it's completely out of hand. We now have 3,000 people in the Discord group. We have some of the best community members anyone could ever wish for. So I am super happy. I really, really want to thank everyone. And let's make sure the second year is even better. We're all about that, right? So without further ado, that being said, the market is moving pretty fast this week. What I intend to do, because Corpse already covered most of Bitcoin, actually, I intend to do like a request live stream. I'm just gonna answer questions from the YouTube channel. Whatever is in your mind, if it's like a chart or anything news related, feel free to ask. And I'll try to answer every question today. So let's move over to the charts. And I really want to start with Litecoin. Now, why do I want to start with Litecoin? That's very simple, because this thing is gold at this moment. Not only Litecoin, of course, we can see Ripple is making some very large moves today, but we're probably a little bit too late to catch that. So Litecoin it is. I'm just going to start off because this is actually a request from Johnny. Hello, Johnny, if you're watching. And he was asking for Litecoin targets. Now, the first thing I would like to point out is that we have not really yet broken out of the log or of the descending wedge. If we do enable the log trend, we can see that we kind of broke out of the shorter term, but I really want to keep it linear. And the reason for that is because I don't think anyone should use a log scale after such a massive move down. Usually when things are in full bull mode, that's the only time I use the log scale. So for Litecoin, we haven't really broken out yet. I do expect to break out soon. I've always said, and I've been saying this for months, my golden buy zone is between $70 and let's say $43. Reason for this, if we look at the history of Litecoin, you can see that this is where most of the accumulation has happened. And I just find it very unlikely that Litecoin will just, plunge to its death, basically going to $3 after such a massive move up. So what I'm waiting for this wedge here to break. As far as I'm concerned, we're getting close to it. For this, I'm just going to grab some indicators. Gonna start off with the relative strength index and a MACD. By the way, guys, fill those YouTube comments. Let's do it. Whatever is on your mind, put it in the chat box, and we can do some very nice analysis today. So, why do I think this wedge is coming to an end? That's very simple. If we take the trend line, we can see that we clearly made a new low here. This is by far not the case for both the RSI and a MACD. So this is what we like to call divergence. MACD is moving higher, RSI is moving higher, the price is moving lower. Now, this is typical for the end of a wedge. 9 out of 10 times when the end of a wedge is near, this is what we see. We see big divergence. We see a relatively stable price, which it has been for the past, let's say, month, 39 days. So I think we're gonna get a good breakout. Of course, this is pure speculation until we actually do get the breakout. Now, that being said, targets for breakouts are as follows. I'm not going to target the 618, even though usually I do. I want to keep it relatively safe because by no means this means that we're out of the bull market, or the bear market, I should say. This could be just a very nice bounce. Now, I believe this bounce will bring us up to at least 95 USD. That's a lot of hopium, of course, but you have to take into consideration that basically we've been in this downtrend for 215 days. And once again, very important to understand, this doesn't mean the bear market is over. This just means that there could be a good amount of profit to be made here. So in short, it's very simple. My target's going to be 95 USD. If you want to play it safe, you could potentially look at this resistance over here, which used to be support. And also, I believe if we take this back, we can see that even in 2017, this resistance was already into play. So I think that's a very nice target. No shame in selling there. If you're, if you're trading on margin, that's a very nice profit to be had there. Potential stop would be the breakout of the previous low. I don't think we're going to make any low anymore, but if we do, it would basically invalidate my trade, and that level would be at 46 USD. So that's what I'm currently looking at for LTC. Next question, are we still going to 4,000? Very good question. As I said, Corpse did most of the Bitcoin analysis, but I can grab it up here real quick. And, in short, if you've not watched my live streams, make sure to check out the previous one, because right now I'm just going to do a summary of what I already told in the last stream. We have a 6K level here. I'm going to keep this very brief because I don't want to tell the same story every day. This is support. As long as support survives, that's obviously a good sign. We are making lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. So what we would really need right now is a higher high. I don't expect this to really happen on the very short term. I expect that we are now going to enter the consolidation mode. If we look at the previous bear market, which was in 2014, 2015, you can see that for about, let's say, 1 year, there was a lot of chop in the same range, and this is typical for the ending of a bear market. So I expect we could be looking at kind of the same story here, just some sideways action, maybe a little dump, but apart from that, I'm not too concerned until we do break this low over here. In that case, I would have to redo the analysis. It's of course very much possible. There's no reason why we wouldn't break down, but I think we're going to have, a catalyst. We need a catalyst to either break support or break resistance. And in that case, I would mean a higher high. And I don't see one right now. The only one I could see coming is the CBOE ETF. That's upcoming. Could really take us out of the bear market, but there's so much stuff that could take us further into the bear market as well, that there is no point in speculating on this as of this moment. So yeah, could you tell something about the relationship between the Margin Engine and Cryptocampus? Yeah, of course, it's very simple. You can look at Cryptocampus as a gym. You go there, you train, you sport, and you pay a gym fee. And that is that. You're going to have to do it yourself. You're going to have to take all the teaching materials yourself. You're going to have to practice yourself. But then also you could, for example, get a private coach in the gym. So like a personal trainer. The benefit of this is that we will really take you by hand. We will do a 7-week live course. So that's like, that's not easy. You're going to have to go through it for 7 weeks. But the goal of the product is only for like people who seriously are looking at the possibility of becoming a full-time trader or anything of that nature. So if that's not your goal, if you're just trading on the side, or you just like to hodl, then it's certainly not for you. But if you really want to become like a full-time trader, then you could consider to take it. And the main benefits, of course, are the personal guidance that will be there. There will be a separate Discord channel. There will be separate calls, and a lot more stuff, which is all in the Q&A. about the margin engine. So if you haven't watched that, I suggest you do. That's gonna be super awesome. I'm super excited for this. That's something that could really take this whole stuff to completely different level. Let's see. Next question. Can you look at Cardano? Yes, my friends, I can look at Cardano. Markets. So, Cardano, I think it's a little bit the same story that we had for Litecoin. Just fix the screen a little bit. Let me know if you can properly see it. So, for Cardano or ADA, it is generally the same story as for many alts actually right now. Look at Ripple, look at Litecoin. They're all making descending wedges, and the question is, when are they going to break out? And I can already, guess that when I pull up the RSI, and I'm not sure about this on a MACD. Let me just fix this. Of course. This is rather annoying. There we go. Yep. So I wouldn't say we are diverging, which is typical for the end of a descending wedge. You can see that even the RSI has made a lower low. MACD is a little bit of a different story. So what we have here is, I would call it the dilemma. Which indicator is right? Are we diverging or are we not diverging? And the way I like to solve that is just get in my third favorite indicator, unbalanced volume, and see where that leads us. And the unbalanced volume tells us that we are not diverging at this moment. So that's like 2 out of 3. So I would be saying that there's no divergence, but that being said, there doesn't have to be a divergence. It's very much possible that this wedge could break without any kind of divergence. So my suggestion would be just very simple. Just wait until it breaks out. Grab your Fibonacci retracement tool, pull it over. There we go. And you will see that the target. And I'm pretty conservative with targets right now. I'm not going to put moon targets that we're not going to hit over the next couple of months. Just something very simple. A 236. Now, this would give us a return if we do breakout of about 40%. Now, put that on margin, and you're going to have one hell of a trade. The downside is that there's no further indication other than this descending wedge that says that we're actually gonna go and break out topside. There's no divergence. There's not anything. This is obviously not a level where the price has traded a lot, so there's not a lot of history we can base this trade off. But if we do break out, I think this would make for a very nice move. Ubik, go that route. I've always found Ubik to be a little bit, well, I wouldn't say challenging to chart, but it's different. Also, this appears to be one of the few coins that's not necessarily creating a descending wedge. That being said, this trade, as far as I'm concerned, is super easy. We have our support right on this line, close to 8,000 Satoshis, something like that. And that is the support. After this, I wouldn't say that there is any other support other than the low that the price has made back in 2017. This could be potentially an awesome accumulation level. If this does break out, I would personally just take the whole move and peg my target at, let's say, sounds like you know Yeah, sounds a little bit far-fetched, but if I was going to trade this and it would have like proper accumulation here, then I would say like 28,000 satoshis could be a nice target. If you're a little bit more conservative, drag it down, just take this move over here, and you could peg it at 22,000. That being said, the risk reward on this trade would be amazing, because if we do take our long position tool, drop it down, our stop loss could be just under support. Now our targets could be like way up here, right? What this means is that you could have like, if the price does break down, wouldn't take too much of your position. But if it does move up and it does move to targets, then you could make one hell of a trade. So personally, I don't even know if it's possible to trade this on margin, but if it is, I wouldn't actually trade this on margin because it's risky enough as it is. If it does break down, it could be one hell of a ride. Digibyte is the next request. Just want to go over all these alts. You know, I've got some time today, so just want to help everyone out. Trade and chill. Okay, so for Digibyte, I wouldn't say that there is currently any diagonal support. You know, most of these supports have actually been broken. We've got 3 tests here, but then again, we're just trading in the support, so I would say that would pretty much discard it. No. That means we're gonna have to look at horizontal supports. There are a couple I could see. The first of which is sitting at 350 satoshis. The second of which is sitting all the way at 163 satoshis. So this is how I would personally put down my horizontal supports. There we go. But that being said, I would just hold on to Fibonacci. As you can see, the support I drew earlier, 350 satoshis, is the 382, relatively strong level. Appears that the price is struggling to break below this price point. So any buy in this zone, I would consider like a proper long-term buy. On the short term, however, there is not really any particular reason why I would be trading this. You know, there's no descending wedge, no special signs, no patterns, no dojis, no nothing that would suggest that we're gonna move up. So for the long term, as always, Digibyte all the way. It's even in my portfolio, but for the short term, I wouldn't really be trading this too much. What are my thoughts on Lux? Well, as I said before, right, this is a micro cap. So let's go over to CoinMarketCap. How do I trade micro caps? I'm gonna do the story again because I want all of you, I want everyone to hear this story and understand it, right? Now, we are currently sitting at 5 million USD market cap, okay? Now, once again, people are worrying. They're getting scared over like 20% drops or 20% pump. That's not how you trade a micro cap. How you trade a micro cap, and I'm gonna go over this once more, and that will be like possibly the last time. Here we have PivX, and all of you heard the story probably, but some of you didn't. You know, basically I sold PivX here because I made a loss, bought somewhere here, and then it just went berserk and even more berserk and went completely bonkers, and it did like 1000x, right? Let's take this whole move here. 10,000% or close to it. That's how I want to trade Lux. That's how I trade market or small caps on the market. I don't trade them to, you know, get rich quick. I just put them in my portfolio. 8 out of 10 will probably fail, but the 2 that do not fail, you know, they could make like 100x or 1000x, pumping up my entire portfolio. And that's how I'm trading this. That's also how I'm looking at Lux, how I'm looking at Trade Token, how I'm looking at Storm, all kinds of other micro caps. That's how I do it. And there's no point seeing like to analyze this. Are we going to break out? We could. One could say that resistance is sitting here. We have a horizontal support at this moment. So there we go. That would make for a descending triangle, but I don't put too much stock in patterns for microcaps. It's not very important. Because, you know, anyone could pump this. You only need like $10,000 and you could pump the price all the way up to here, basically doubling the price. NXT, that's a very good one. Something I don't like to chart, to be honest. And if you look at this chart, you know, you will probably see why. There's not really any sense or logic in this chart. That being said, there is one thing that repeats over and over again. If you ever bought in this range, you would have made a lot of profit. And I think that pattern is just going to repeat. I don't know if this is like a whale playing with NXT or if this is just natural market movement. Doesn't seem like that to me anyway, but you know, if you buy in this zone and you aim for the lowest high, so that would mean basically here somewhere, and you put your stop loss just below the buy zone, then you would be relatively safe. You would have a risk reward of 5.8. And keep in mind, risk reward is the only thing that matters, right? Risk reward is golden. If you can stick to your plan, basically you only need 1 out of 3 or 1 out of 4 trades to succeed in order to become profitable. Next we have Steam, request by Chris A. Steam is one of my favorites. You know, it's something that I truly love. And why do I like Steam? It's one of the only damn blockchain products that actually have a product. You know, if you look at CoinMarketCap, if you look at all the shit that's in there that's valued at $1 billion and doesn't really do anything, it's insane, you know. And Steam does have a working product. It, you know, it does have a community. It does have like everything a normal business would need to, you know, exist basically. So what is my viewpoint on Steam? I think that in the near future not much is going to happen. We can clearly see the resistance that's being dragging down ever since halfway 2017. That would make this like a year-long accumulation period, something like that. And frankly, I think it's not done yet. I think we're gonna need more accumulation, and I wouldn't touch this until resistance is broken. When it is broken, you know, then some very great stuff could happen. You know, but the question is when. If you're a swing trader, if you like these kinds of swings, you know, you could definitely set up a good position here. Once again, long position, very tight stop loss. RNR of, I can't see it, let's say 5, something like that. You know, that would make for a great trade. If you buy at support, sell at resistance, you know, hard to go wrong, right? If it goes wrong, you can have a tight stop loss to basically get you out of the trade and secure your funds. Other than that, I wouldn't really be looking at this to, you know, make a short-term profit. When the time comes, this will definitely be added to my portfolio, by the way. If I have $1,000 to invest in crypto, let me tell you something. It doesn't matter if you have $1 or you have $1 million. What matters is good portfolio management. And how I would structure that, and you can also reflect on that on our campus portfolio, is about 60% large caps. So just be safe, take in 60% large caps, and 40% mid and micro caps. Reason for the large caps is that they are relatively Keep in mind, relatively safe. I've seen plenty of top 10 coins die over the past years, so probably in 2 years this will look completely different. But if you pick your cards wise, and for me, for example, that would mean Bitcoin, Ethereum, EOS, um, Dash, possibly Monero. Those are some solid coins that have been around for years. Bad choices include, as far as I'm concerned, for example, Tron. It's a white paper valued at $1.3 billion. Really doesn't do anything other than run Bitcoin over the Tor network, which I could also do myself. What else do we have? We have get some hype coins in here. I won't name them. That's up to you what you consider a hype coin. And then of course we have mid caps. I would say mid caps range anywhere from 25 to 100 position. 0x, for example, great choice. Digibyte is a great choice. And then 20% micro caps. And I wouldn't put 20% into one coin. Just pick 5 that you really think have a future, and then only one of them has to succeed. And keep in mind, even if you put $100 in a micro cap, let's say put $100 in Lux, if this 100x's, which is very much possible in the next bull run, then you will have 10 grand. So risk management over profit by far. Keep that in mind. Can I go over KMD? Of course. Anytime. KMD, it's looking good, especially on the linear scale. Let me just grab this. We've had this massive rundown, and I wouldn't really take the top here. I would just take this last move, because that should really give us a nice resistance. Keep in mind, the more touchdowns the price had on a resistance, the better. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 contact points. That's great. Anything less than 3 is not a valid resistance or support. So let's say, I don't know, if I was gonna draw support, like this, basically only has 1 and 2 touchdowns. It's invalid. Same for resistance. 3 points of contact. Now, I'm a fan of KMD. I really do like it. I like it for the long term, actually. Market cap is relatively low. I'm not sure what the market cap is today. It's like 100 million. That's relatively small, but not too small. Now, what I'd like to add is that there is a lot of volume potential. So what I like to look at when I look at a coin is check which exchanges this coin is on. We can see that it's on Binance. And I like to check the liquidity that this exchange can provide in case of a bull run. Now, for Binance, you can see some of the top coins doing 40 million, 60 million. So that's, of course, like great volume, considering that the volume right now is 300,000. I would say descending wedge, just like most of the other coins. I'm gonna have to take a look at the indicators. But from the MACD, I can already see where this could potentially be going to. So divergence on the RSI, divergence on the MACD. So that would mean that, the wedge is coming to its end. Same story, very simple. If we break out, low targets, keep it conservative, don't be greedy. Especially in a bear market, you don't want to be greedy. 23,000 satoshis, so that would make a gain from this point up 42%, risk reward of 4.7. Now keep in mind, for all these coins, and it's very important to put this into the back of your head, this doesn't have to happen. Okay, so a lot of coins are in a descending wedge, there is divergence, but obviously we could easily break down. All it takes is like some bad news, Bitcoin ETF disapproved, Tether getting wrecked, whatever, for all these setups to become invalidated, and then we will just, drag along to the downside. So yeah, any more requests, guys? Just keep them rolling. I want to do some nice community content today because I could, of course, go over some coins I like to look at. For example, EOS paired against. Let's do it against USD first. EOS paired against USD. So as I've said before, personally, this was one of the best trades of last year, December. We got in at $1.30, basically somewhere around here. We sold the absolute top. That was an awesome trade. But then, right, what do we do next? I think any accumulation in this zone is golden. I do not expect EOS to dump any further. So if you can buy EOS between $4 and basically let's say $6, let's move this up a little bit, then you would be fine. There's no reason for me as to why this would break down. It's one of the most solid projects ever, and I wouldn't be surprised if this thing takes over Ethereum one day. If we look at it from a Bitcoin perspective, kind of the same story. We did have this support going on, then we breached it, got a massive dump. But apart from that, let's take a look at the horizontals. I believe that if you buy, let's say, anywhere between 6,000 and, or I should say 60,000, excuse me, and 82,000, that you will be sitting on a pile of gold during the next bull run. Absolutely. This is also one of my biggest bets, and I'm very, very content with it so far. Quash, we can certainly take a look at that if the chart allows it. Yobi charts are not always great. So here's the deal, right? For Kosh, well, one could say that this was a wedge, and we broke out and let's have a party, but I don't think it was, for the reason that we have two contact points. It's not a valid resistance. It doesn't count. And you can see this by the fact that, made a little up move here, but other than that, it's just being, stable. It's accumulating. So what I would say is, as long as we stay above the previous low, should be fine. If you're hodling this, feel free to hodl further. As long as the previous low stays intact, there's a very good possibility that the price could resume an uptrend from here. Now, where would I put my targets? Once again, assuming that there is not going to be a insane, crazy dump on Bitcoin by declining the ETF or tether failure or whatever, one could look at a target of 5,900. So this is relatively, it's a good trade to take. That being said, the risk reward is not too great. I'm just gonna drag this down here, put this under the previous low, and basically you get a risk reward of about 1.6. So during this live stream I've seen better risk rewards, but if you're holding it, that's fine. If you believe in it for the long term, because the market cap isn't all too large, about 73 million, good volume potential as well. So it could definitely moon during the next bull run, and if that's why you're holding it, then aim for the sky, right? Take a quick look at SIS, QLC, XLM, and EDR. Blast through these coins. Want to make everyone happy today. Oh god, we have this crazy wick on sis. Let's just go to Bittrex. Oh, screw it. Okay. So same story as with Litecoin actually. No descending wedge. That being said, it is a rock bottom. As long as it stays within this range, sitting between 730 satoshis and let's say like 1300 satoshis. This is definitely an accumulation range. If sis breaks below this price point here, I would just consider it dead and not buy it ever again. Because if we go back to these pre-pump ranges, 2015, 2014, even if we go back there, then I would say it's wrecked, dead, full bar. But as long as we stay in this range, it's nice to scoop up some coins. And I really do like Syscoin. Absolutely like it. Made some good gains on it. And if you're a hodler, then this could definitely be the coin for you. No low ball targets for this. This is more about hodling. Aim for a new all-time high. This could be in your portfolio as a mid to micro cap. Go over to XLM. I want to chart this on Bittrex. There's a little bit more history to it. This is a dangerous one, guys. This is a dangerous one. Reason being, if we look at this as a wedge or, a triangle, so to say, then it could spell some bad news. It's clearly a valid support. If we just move this back here, there we go. It had been tested 1, 2, 3, 4 times, so it's absolutely valid. And you can see that the price actually broke out of the downside here. If the bulls regain control and enter the wedge again, so just re-enter the triangle, in that case, 100%, it's a fake out, gonna blast through on the top side. That's how it usually happens if, the price does re-enter a wedge. If it doesn't, I would personally look at this as a retest. And, that would give me a target. And for this, I just want to use the fib. That would give me a target of approximately 2,500 satoshis. But that's a lowball target. I would find it more realistic if it would dump all the way down to 1,700 satoshis. So sorry to say, wouldn't buy this right now. Could be a fake out. Who knows? But it's not a fake out until it is, right? No point speculating. Can I talk about Tether? Yes, but if I do, I would like to, dedicate an entire live stream to the Tether because, this is such a big potential issue. It's a potential issue. I'm not saying it is an issue, but this could be the biggest issue, of the past few years. If we look at the volumes of Tether, so I'm not necessarily even talking about the market cap, right? The market cap is only like 3 billion. If we look at the global market cap, that's like absolutely nothing. However, if we look at the volume, you will find that, Tether is doing 2 billion on Bit4Expertic and Bitcoin. That's completely insane. It's crazy, these amounts of volume. So if it turns out that Tether is like not very auditable, that the records are off, then it could turn out to be like a disaster. And I'm doing some research into this. I'm looking at the Binance, the Bitfinex, and the Bitmax, or the Bitmax, sorry, the OKX hot wallet, and also the UOB hot wallet. And there is some weird stuff going on sometimes. Bitfinex is sending USDT to Binance and to UOB and other ways around. And then you have buying bots which buy Bitcoin with USDT, and you have selling bots which sell Bitcoin with USDT. So I don't want to cause FUD. That's the last thing I want to do. Maybe I could be talking bullshit, but once I've done the research, I have everything I need. I will do a live stream on it and tell you guys my thoughts, because it is something that could affect the market. But I like to base my trades off TA, not of FUD. If your trades are 100% TA based, you don't need to look at the news. You don't need to, obviously it's good to look at it, but you don't have to take it into account, because the TA will tell you most likely what's going to happen. And that's how I like to trade. And if you trade news and all that, you're going to drive yourself insane. So yeah, XLM, a little bit dangerous, but it could be nothing. If you don't take into account the wick, then currently it's looking like this. So looking better, but I would keep an eye on this. Let's see. So yeah, those were a lot of requests. What more? BrickX. There is some awesome stuff coming out about BrickX. I really want to tell you guys some stuff about it, but it's confidential. It will be released next month. It's gonna be super awesome, and basically it blew away my mind, so it will blow away your mind, hopefully. Other than that, I'm scheduling a live stream with the founders of BrickX to tell you guys what has been going on. They've obviously traveled a lot. Boss has traveled through the entire States, Canada, and there's some nice video stuff about that, so it's gonna be awesome. The margin engine is coming up. We've completely redone the website. So that was obviously a lot of work, but I hope that everyone will be able to just, if you want to watch the courses, you can just watch the courses. That's that's the goal of redoing the website. And I think it went pretty well. Nonetheless, if you find any issues, feel free to shoot me a message, and we will resolve it ASAP. So yeah, I'm gonna do some trading. I'm gonna celebrate the 1 year existence of Cryptocampus, and once again, absolute gratitude and thanks to the community, to the team, without whom this would not have been possible. So I wish you guys a great day, and I will see you on the Discord. And please don't forget to subscribe. Have a great day.